In this video, we're going to go through how to install BVEssentials. So there are two different versions of BVEssentials available on our download site, and you can get that information from your Business Vision business partner as to where to get it from. But we have version 5 and version 6. So version 5 is our 32-bit version, and it is used if you've got a server that is a 32-bit server, so Windows 2003. Although there are some servers or 2003 servers that are 64-bit, but the 2008 R2 is definitely a 64-bit server. You can install on that, and then if you're running it standalone, and as long as your workstation is 64-bit, if you're running on a single computer, then you can run the 64-bit version as well. Windows 7 and Windows 8, of course, are 64-bit. Okay, let's start with installing on the 32-bit computer. It is the easier of the installations to do. You notice that here I have the 5.11.1, and this is the 32-bit version. The 64-bit version has two files, one for the server and one for the workstation. So installing version 5.x series of software is simply done after you've installed your Business Vision. The only thing that has to be on the workstation is pervasive, and the data can reside on either the workstation or on the server somewhere. So if you go ahead and install, make sure Business Vision is closed. That's important, that Business Vision must be closed when you first install BVEssentials. If a reinstallation in the future, if you're doing another version, does not have to have Business Vision closed, but the first time you install, it must be closed. So we just hit the next button. It's going to by default install itself into C, Program Files x86 BVEssentials, and you can redirect that to wherever you want. If you are installing on a server and you want the program itself to be on the server, you can redirect that to a drive letter. So F drive BVEssentials or something like that, and then on the rest of the workstations, you install to that same place again over and over and over again. And what it does on each installation is it updates all the files in the local computer that need to be there. So it's the crystal drivers, some other DLLs that go into your Windows folders. And then from now on, whenever you do an upgrade, you only have to do the upgrade on one computer, pointing it back to that same place on the server, and don't have to do it on all workstations. So we're going to hit next, choose full installation, the name, BVEssentials, creating the desktop shortcut and the quick launch icon can be checked or unchecked. Next, and then it follows through with the installation. It takes about 30 seconds or so to get the first portion done here. Towards the end, it's also going to do a creation of the DDFs for using for crystal reports or for using an ODBC connection. And that, depending on the computer itself and the security level set up, can take a bit of time. This one was very instant, but the last step where it said creating DDFs, it is a possibility that it could take upwards of a minute or so for that last portion. And at the end here, it'll ask us if we want to launch BVEssentials. If you uncheck that, it'll just leave it at the shortcut and you start it up. Okay, so when it opens up the first time to the log on screen, you are working on unlicensed, so at the bottom will say unlicensed, and there'll be no companies on the list. So first of all, what you do is you hit the plus button to add a company, and you go into the folder that you want to pick up your company from, whether it's on your server or a local drive. I'll go into this demo 3, I choose my BVCon file, it adds the company on the list, I type in the username and the password. And in my case, my demo data is demo, so it's 2010. And I click log on, and it wants to create the new empty Business Vision BVEssentials data. So I hit upgrade. It's not touching your Business Vision data, it's only creating any of our extra files. So then comes up quite quickly afterwards and says that there's a license agreement you need to accept. So if you click the accept button and you then register this, so put in a new partner here, and you'd put your business partner name that you use for your Business Vision support. And I'll just type in a name here, BVE. Company name here is ABC Electronics. Contact name is Al Romain, and I'll put my email address is al@abcelec.com, and then a phone number 604-555-1212, address 1234 First Ave, Vancouver, BC, B5C4C4, and activate. Okay, then you're going to see our licensing screen. It says the trial period will last for 30 days and to contact your business partner. At this point, if you have already purchased the program, then your business partner will arrange to get your permanent license. And you can, when you click OK, you'll have access to everything in the program. If you've or just wanted to try out certain modules, you can do so. But when you first start with the trial version, you get access to everything, which includes the sales manager, the production manager, the service manager, and the rental manager, and then as well as the limited edition. So once you've tried it out and you've decided which modules that you want to purchase, then just let your business partner know, and the license that you get for the permanent installation will be installed, and you'll have just access to the parts that you purchase. Okay, so to install the 6 series, like I said, there is a server version, a server portion of the installation, and a workstation portion. So you have to start with the server portion, and when you run that, hit next. I'm going to choose custom installation here so you can see what some of the options are. So I hit next here, and this is where the program itself is going to be installed, and then yes. Okay, so here is where the synchronized data is going to install. So what happens in our 64-bit version is that we synchronize the data with another database that basically speeds up the search and lookup process of the software. This is a very powerful system that, again, requires a 64-bit, but the synchronized data, you need to choose where you're going to store that synchronized data. It's not data that needs to be backed up. It's just like a cache, but you need to decide where it's going to go. So if it's on a server situation especially, you want to put it on a drive that's got enough room. So check your drives. In this case, I got lots of free room, so I'm just going to choose the defaults. But if you've got other drives in your system, install it there. Choose a direct drive, not a mapped drive. So if this is going on to a different place than where the computer we're actually on, go through it through the UNC connection and not a mapped drive. So we're just going to accept this here. So when the server service runs, the system account is the user that runs it. So it's not really a user on your server, but it's an account in a system that usually has full rights to be able to run services. There are some servers where the user system or the service system does not have enough rights to be able to start and stop services. It's not usual, but in some situations it can happen. So if you have problems with this particular user not being able to start the services, then create another user with full admin rights, and call it BVEssentials or something, and give it a password, and then you would use the custom credentials and put that information in there. But typically try the system account first because it usually works. Okay, then we got the name of the program, and then we install. So this runs through, takes about a minute or so, or a minute or less. If it's on a quick computer, it should be even faster than that. Gets to the end, and then it runs a background. Then when you click finish, it'll pop up and say there's no companies currently set up. So the companies are set up at the server level. So you click OK here, and you add the company into the list. So again, you will go to the drive where the data is. This must be in a drive that is shared. So if the data that you're going to connect with is not shared, even on a standalone computer, you need to do that. So if I open up my computer again and I look at my C drive here and I go to BV data and I go share with specific people, I want to make sure that whatever users you want to run this has access to this and it is shared to them on a read-write situation. So you want to be able to read-write. Then you click your share button and it shares that particular folder. So even if it's a standalone computer or workstation you're working on, it still must be shared because again, BVEssentials server is a true server service that runs. Okay, on the server itself, if it was on a server, you would not go to the drive letter that you've mapped to that server like you do with Business Vision. You would go down to your network icon, find the device where it's installed on, if whatever it happens to be called, and you click through to it and you get onto it. You need to have access to it, of course, so this wouldn't normally log in here, and point directly to that device as on UNC and not with a drive letter. So in my case here, I've gone back to Add Company, going to BV Data, Demo 3, and BV Con, and then it loads up. So in this case, what's going to happen is it's going to create that caching that we talked about and that we use for synchronization and for very, very quick lookups within Business Vision. And when this is complete, you can then go back and install your BVEssentials portion. Okay, when that's done, we run the BVEssentials workstation portion. Next, choose where you want to install it. I'm installing it into BVEssentials 6X. Next, create the icons, then install. So this portion is where you must make sure that Business Vision is closed on this workstation, and if you're running on a terminal server situation, that everybody has Business Vision closed. You don't have to do this the first time when you're installing. When you're doing upgrades down the road, you don't have to do that. So once it finishes, updates the unified DDFs or the DDFs, and then we can start the program or launch it from the icon if you want to check that. And when it starts up, as long as your server is running, then you'll see that the database automatically is there. So the server name will show up there, and the databases that you have access to will be here. And then at this point again, you just log into it. Put your date in that the data is relevant for this database. This is a demo, so I'm going to put a earlier date in, and then it comes up. It gives me a warning about my version. And again, if this is a trial version, you'll have access to everything within our programs. We have several modules that you'll have access to, which include Sales Manager, Service Manager, Rental Manager, Production Manager, and our limited edition during your trial period. Once the trial period is over, you'll be limited to whatever portion of the program you purchased.